Good morning and good afternoon, LinkedIn friends, HubSpot Nation. It is time for another episode of Let's Build a HubSpot Super Admin. Lucy is back with us. How are you doing, Lucy?
Hi, Chris. Hi, everyone. Happy to be here again. Busy admins here, but happy to be again with you.
Busy admins indeed. Is it getting tougher or easier for admins? Like, I think we keep hearing about this world where things get easier with AI and all these new features and functionality, but I'm not sure that's what I'm hearing out there.
Mm, I think it depends. It depends on the definition of easier or tougher. I think it's getting busier. More more tools is giving us more work, meaning that we can do more stuff. That's fantastic, but we have to dedicate more time also. So, but I do love that we're gaining a lot of visibility as admins. But well, that's not making our job easier in the way of um, we're doing things faster, I think, but we still have a lot of things to do. That's giving us a lot of work.
Yeah. And it's not like we always say, it's moving more and more away from just being the break fix, person and just the setup person, the builder. And today we're going to talk about business context through the lens of, I think, customer agent and credits. All right, like that is two monumental changes to the way that you manage HubSpot portal. Customer agents fresh on my mind because I just saw an update today where they're kind of building out it might as well be a dashboard at this point, like just for the agent, so you can easily set the settings. And we're used to these tabs where it's overview, manage, performance, just like the rest of the portal. And it's like, okay, is there going to be a world where they all have their own dashboards? And then you see the settings and it's like the name of the agent, like its personality, like, okay. It's a different world to say the least. And we throw in credits and how do you think about costs and licensing and seats um, but you really can't make any of those decisions meaningfully without the understanding what the business needs. So where are you finding admins? Whatever story comes to mind, let's just dive in.
Yeah, and I think that people are just starting to realize the importance of having an admin, or call it a HubSpot champion, or call it a HubSpot gatekeeper, whatever name they want to give it in your own organization. But just today, I had this conversation with a client that I was telling you, Chris, before starting the live, that businesses tend to still make decisions by each team separately without seeing the CRMs as a reflection of their businesses. So business context is really important to understand that everything, every decision, every process that we're implementing or thinking about implementing in the CRM has to be cohesive with the business. Everything is going to impact everything. So we're just finishing our implementation, a new data model and new integrations with their own app. And right now there was a current parallel conversation about business units. And we weren't involved until today in that conversation. And we were just saying, but hey, have you considered how this is going to impact the whole work that we have been doing in the past 5 months? And they said, no, I really didn't thought about that. Just because we don't have a HubSpot admin, someone that is always thinking of HubSpot as a whole. But that's why we bring you guys. And yeah, I know. And even though agencies and us as external admins or fractional CMOs, in some cases, yeah, we try to do that job, but I think it's more something that you will see a lot of more value if you have it internally, right?
Yeah.
But it's always this business idea that should be all over on top, let's just say, as an umbrella for every decision that we make in the CRM. And credits is going to be another discussion because each team is going to want to use the credits for their own. And what happens? How do we distribute the credits among the whole organization?
Yeah.
Marketing doing the stuff, or customer success is in the customer agent. We're all going to fight internally so who should be the owner of the credits? Let's just say should be the
Oh
admin.
man. Yeah. Hopefully it's not another one of those situations where, oh, that's marketing's budget. But sales and service just like eats it up and like, man, I did not know we were gonna go here today because I just have to comment this morning, right? But this is how aligned the problem is. This is how significant this problem is, like far and wide, relates to the 50% adoption rates and the 70% digital failures. It's not, doesn't seem to be getting any better. And I've started liking it too, because it was a conversation about how process, it always comes back to the process and the people, right? And a lot of people were saying, yep, like documentation is usually the miss, right? But when we're focused on process and people, we focus on process documentation. And most people miss the data model that's underneath the business that has to support the people in the process. So what happens is the situation you're describing is you start to build out the data model with the people that have been involved in the process so far. And it almost always gets destroyed by somebody who you find out later is impacted by the work that you're doing. They haven't been involved in the conversation at all so far. It's easiest to show when it's the division of marketing and sales, which is almost always there for a HubSpot perspective. But that's where it's like they say, oh, that's what we count on you to do. And it's like, well, you brought us in to support marketing. We're not going to go over and like say, hey, sales team, like we're in charge of you now and you got to be involved in this onboarding process.
Yeah.
Right. And that like gap of just misaligned, process, misaligned KPIs, it feels like SaaS has taught us that the solve is point solutions. And so naturally, the onboardings and everything happen in siloed ways. And now we run into these issues where it's like, that's why I don't like hard and fast scopes anymore. Like, unless you're confirming up and down, this is who's going to be involved and this is who's impacting and these are the goals. It's very hard to like manage the process with HubSpot because almost always you will get in there. And when you bring the people in there, they're like, oh, we can do that in HubSpot too. We weren't even considering that part of the process. And it's like, well, if you want to do that, we need a whole new object to like store data in. And it's not just like, bam, we're going to turn it on. Obviously, I could go for a while here, but what?
But I think that what you were saying is that sometimes we encounter something that happens really in every organization is people change jobs, and the new one that comes, of course, they have the pressure of showing themselves off, of building new stuff, putting their grain of sand in the corporation. So yeah, but wait a minute, you don't have to change everything just because you're new here. So another situation that I encountered today is that another process of implementation that is coming to an end, they hired a new marketing team member that knows about HubSpot, but he was trying to change the whole sales process again, and we have implemented a lot of automations with the sales process. So I do love it that you have the commitment of improving stuff, but wait, you need to consider this. You cannot change this because this is going to break everything that we're building. So, oh, I didn't know. Oh, so admins, if you're hearing us, think, plan, and then touch and implement. Don't see, touch, and then think. No, that's not the order. So we need to plan, we need to analyze the impact of the decisions that we are planning to make or the changes that we're planning to make in the CRM, because that has impact. That has a lot of things related. Another thing is yesterday, the customer success team was saying in this new data model moment, they weren't used to be working with HubSpot. So they said, oh, and are we going to have this information about the accounts coming now from the app? Yes, you're going to have that. Oh, I didn't know that was possible. So now can I have this? Can I have that? I have this information in the deals. Awful, because they were working in deals. We're not going to question that. And I said, yes, but wait, because this information, if it's going to be part of this new object, we need all to agree that this is going to live now in the data model. and what is going to happen next. Just because you come here and put the potential churn or the potential upsell in a property, what is going to happen after that? Is the marketing team going to be involved? Are you going to send this back to sales to help you re-engage the customer? Oh, I didn't think about that. Okay, so think first. Let's just plan and not just say, oh, can you add this property in the object? Yes, I can, but that's not the question. You can do almost everything today with HubSpot or even with customization and integrations. But the thing is, should we? Are we going to have this business discussion on how this is going to interact among all your teammates and the processes? And I see companies skipping those conversations every day. And I see the role of an admin becoming more and more difficult if they don't know how to handle those situations. So we have to learn to say no, we have to learn to stop, think, and then implement. Of course, we cannot make everyone happy, so someone is always going to suffer in the process. Yeah. But at least when planning, we will say, okay, these are going to be the next steps. I think that the next phase could be improving this in this way, so we'll have to evaluate and have conversations about this. So yeah, so these are the type of decisions that cannot be missed at any point by any admin with any teams. And if we go back to it's either credits or the customer agent or the use of AI, all of the new things that are coming in HubSpot, we will need to discover what is the best way for the business to do so, to implement it, right?
Yeah. No, I think that layer of, and like Joshua Oakes mentioned that question in the same comments of nobody asks what happens next, right? And that could be the number one question for you as an admin, because it is the best way. I mean, I'm thinking about this out loud right now, but it feels like one of the best ways to challenge whatever was just said in the most loving, kind way, right? Without any subjectivity, and just say like, okay, what happens next? It's in the system. It looks like this. Who's responsible for it? Oh, I thought that was this other team. They're doing that right now. Does that mean they're not responsible? And you're wanting to open the hornet's nest that is there, like as quickly as possible, so that like if you want to proactively do it instead of letting it happen to you, because the last thing you want is like it being forced on like external resources where it just eats up time and that's cost the company so much money. Ultimately, that is what leads to just failed adoption and failed systems, because we can't agree as an organization how to use these things, right? And I think Customer Agent is a great example, because a lot of times what we're hearing is like people know the hornet's nest is there, and they think stuff like Customer Agent will just cut it out. Like we'll just let the hornets stay over there, and behind the scenes we're just gonna rely on AI to shortcut this because we won't have to deal with people problems. Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
And I had the same discussion around the prospecting agent, right? So we were discussing, okay, yes, but I want to automate everything. Okay, yeah, but are you going to be up to having the own AI drafting your emails with the context that it has? And, oh, yeah, no, but I don't like that. Okay, so now we need to think again. The tool is fantastic. Okay, it's still in early stages. It's rather new. It's going to improve. Okay, fantastic. There's another path that we can follow, go to Ask ChatGPT and come back. Okay, there's a lot of things that we can do. But first, how do we want it to be? How is the business defining that this new process with AI? AI, I think, is going to challenge all the processes internally, because we're not going to, at least not now, we are not going to be able to fully automate everything from start to end, right? Not 100%, not at least now. I don't say not in the future, but not for now. And it shouldn't be like that, because I think that, as George said, let's just not forget that there's humans behind and in front. We have teams, We have people working, they have experience, they have a lot of years of learning. Okay, AI can learn fast and even faster than us. Fantastic. It's not there yet, but it will get eventually. But let's just not forget our business acumen, our experience working with the industries, and let's just not forget that on the other side, it's a human. So people still get frustrated speaking to an AI bot that tells you, okay, yes, if you want to know more about this, read this article. No, I want to talk to someone. It's like, bring me an agent.
Oh
So
man.
we cannot escape that people still want those experiences, right? And I want to be self-serve in the context where I can handle self-serve. But there are some situations where I need someone for customer support to hold me, to support me, and to tell me, okay, everything's going to be okay. I'm going to take care of you. And AI is still doesn't have emotions. It can try to fake emotions. It can try to sympathize with the other person, but let's just not forget humans on both sides, right?
Yeah.
And customer agents, I do love it. I think they have a lot of potential. Any agent in HubSpot, I think they have a lot of potential. But it's still, I think, something that a human should be supervising, that a human should be setting up and helping and analyzing. It's just not something, nothing in HubSpot, you turn it on and you forget. Nothing. Nothing. Banner, nothing coming up here.
Yeah.
So, not yet, of course, but should be if we want something, if it would be so easy to set up a CRM fully automated that is gonna bring our business to the top performance, wouldn't everyone be doing the same thing? Because at some point we will experience the AI sending us all the same email, doing all the same actions from the industry, because it's learning for the industry, it's learning for the clients, it's learning for the experiences that it has. And the markets are not so different. So especially when you go to some niche industries, you tend to see that customers behave in a way. So what is going to happen if we all rely fully on AI? We're all going to be the same. We're all going to look the same. We're all going to offer the same. And that's the beautiful thing about human senses and human experiences, that we are not all the same. And we don't express ourselves the same way. Not all agencies, not all HubSpot experts are the same. There are some of them more, I don't know, with more soft skills. There are some of them with more tech or hard skills, and we're all different, neither better or worse. We're different. And the good thing is that we have different options to experience those situations. So I think
Yeah.
agents are still something, I don't know, something that is coming. Yeah, something worth trying. And as you were saying, I think coming to reports, the first thing that we're going to be seeing, or the first metric that comes in mind to people is, okay, how many hours of human resources I actually save by having an agent? Okay, now that's not the conversation.
Right.
We're not trying to replace your customer success team with the customer agent. No, we're just trying to leave them time to allocate to more important or more profound conversations that you're going to need, right? More complex situations. And let's just leave the agent more for the self-serve, more for the easy, quick fixes and things that could. I'm not saying that it doesn't have the capacity to be answering complex situations, but let's just start baby steps. People have a great capacity to go from 0 to 100 in a second, like a car. It's like, okay, no.
Yeah.
Changes in company, they're not like that. They're gradual. They should be gradual. We need people to adjust. We need to test. We need to learn. So yeah, a lot of love and hate still with the agents, especially with the customer agents. So what would be, for example, one love and one hate from your side for the agent?
Well, a couple things come to mind, and I'm always thinking about the perception of the users, like when stuff is introduced like this. And I've been cringing every time I hear that the word AI first, right? Of course, I feel like I understand what HubSpot means when they say that, or what any other company means. It's that they're building out the product with AI as a priority. It's not that they're forgetting about all the human beings, right? It just obviously doesn't come out like that ever. And then when I was at AI Summit, two things were said or shown. One was like a short demo video of the showing customer agent as like the 8th name on the list of reps on like a leaderboard dashboard. And it's like, so we hear AI first, and now it looks like I'm being measured directly against an AI agent that is on 24/7. And when we think about all the metrics that we usually like track, like number of tickets closed and SLAs and how fast they get closed, it's like if that's the setup, which I understand why they go there, because we do want human supervision of the thing, but when you put it right next to the team in that environment, they can't help but think of it as like a verse. That's what leaderboards are supposed to do. Like, which I disagree with that whole concept anyways. But like as an admin, like the delivery of like no matter how valuable it could be for the business in that moment, delivering without explaining that nuance or putting it right in the face of people in that way will kill it. Like, and it will lead managers and leaders to be like, okay, well, we have no choice but to start taking advantage of this. So I guess we're going to have to choose AI over the people, right? And meanwhile, the business gets rid of so much context that their frontline teams have, which has to be given to the AI anyways. But the other thing I heard is like, especially related to credits, right? Like figuring out how to move to usage-based and value-based like models away from licensing and seats, right? I probably have a fairly extreme view on this whole seats situation in HubSpot right now. I think they're never gonna clarify that. Like it's just gonna move to usage at some point. Because every time it's a conversation, it's like, well, it's a case by case basis, and then like nobody can clarify exactly how it works in every situation because it's a cluster to say the least. And I think AI is there to help them figure that out based on data. They will get to a usage based model like most SaaS is going to have to do. But something came up like there's customer agents out there that are just specific software developed as like that's the value prop. And some of them are charging like based on number of tickets, like closed or resolved, right? And immediately where my mind went is like, okay, that doesn't necessarily make for a better experience. Like that company is now driven by number of tickets closed and now not making the experience better. Like when you see 10 tickets of the same thing, and then we make a knowledge-based article so that we don't get those tickets anymore, right? So these are all levels of nuance that as you apply AI in your organization, this is where HubSpot is forcing you to do that. Like they are forcing AI upon us right now. I mean, I still have clients that have not turned on the big AI button, right? But more and more use cases are coming up. Like we're building workflows. We want to create descriptions easily. We're doing this and over here. And now it's like we're mid-project and we're like, okay, I got to figure out how to have the conversation now about how to, like, can we turn on this button like now for HubSpot, the one that you're paying for? So those are the things that come to mind, and why I say, like, if you're an admin, you have to find a way to think about this like differently than it just being another feature that can be on or off, right?
Yeah, but until so far, I think that for every admin, and I think for every businesses, when we were thinking about AI, it used to be something so far away, something so weird. It was like going to space and implementing AI. It was like almost the same thing. And right now, I think that what has happened, especially with this credit stuff, and let's just do a little clarification about what we're talking about for someone that might be listening and doesn't know. So last year, HubSpot launched Breeze Credits that now they have been renamed into HubSpot Credits with a broader possibility of usage, right? So now you can use credit for 3 or 4 type of things. So you can use it for enrichment in your database and your information in the CRM. You can use it for smart properties and smart property filling of, for example, company information, industry, and all that stuff. You can use it for by intent to discover new prospects coming to your website or potential prospects that are in your TAM or about your ICP. So we can set all that up. And then you can use it on customer agents. What I don't like is that customer agents consume far more, 10 times more credits than all the other options that we just mentioned. When enriching a property or doing some smart field consumes 10 credits, customer agents consume 100 credits each time, each conversation. So that is something that's still the scale of the usage we have to still unveil and get to know. And then, of course, the cost of the credits, because sometimes we think, oh, yeah, but we are replacing AI or someone in the team with a customer agent. Yeah, of course, it has a cost. Of course, if you consider the amount of tickets or the amount of conversations compared to a human, it's still going to be more. And maybe some bad words are going to say, yeah, but it's still cheaper than having a new employee in my company. Okay, we're not going to discuss that today. Maybe it's another conversation. But I think there's a lot of ways that we can start as an admin implementing AI in the companies with these small things. Completing information. We have discussed a lot of times that incomplete data is the worst nightmare that 99.9% of the companies experience in HubSpot and in any CRM, because this is not a HubSpot issue. This is a business issue. I have experienced it using Monday, using Odoo, using Salesforce, using Pipedrive, all of the information that comes from all of those other platforms. It's old, it's incomplete. So it's not a HubSpot issue. But those who work with HubSpot like us, we have experienced that all clients have bad data, old data, and we can start using AI to discuss this kind of stuff. So this week I was having a conversation actually with our partner rep at Sophie, and we were discussing actually this enrichment, and we were discussing how the tool can let you know when someone has left their job so that you can go and update, re-enrich that contact. And I was saying, okay, yeah, but we can build an automation to be doing that. Oh, yes, we would love to do that. So the conversation went that way. But again, there's a lot of things, parts of the process that we should be doing that we as admins, we can use AI to be doing that. Because one basic information, what happens with a contact that bounced their email? Okay, it's bounced. Who is responsible for updating that information? So the first thing that comes in mind to admins is we delete them. We mark them as non-marketing contacts. No, wait a minute, wait. Because if that person used to be a prospect to you, a potential client, the role of the company, you have 2 things to do. Understand where did that person go, so that maybe with the same role in a new company, you gain 1 new prospect, and understand who remained in his position in the current company, so that that prospect is still your prospect and you still have potential to sell to them. Nobody wants to do that. You assign that to the sales team, they don't do it. They are so busy generating new leads that nobody takes care about the people that is still in the CRM and bounce the emails because they have switched jobs. So this is one specific situation, a very frequent situation for companies that admins can use AI to help fix, right? So we can get notified, we can have automations, we can have different platforms, if it's Surf, if it's Clay, whatever platform we want to use to re-enrich that data. But there's a process, specific process that you can use AI to fix a problem in the company and to stop this to propagate and to be bigger and bigger and bigger. Because you're spending money on generating leads, you're spending money on nurturing time, because time is money in the end. It's not only that you're investing in ads, right? You're doing a lot of efforts, but then once the contact bounce, you forget. That's not the whole point, because people change jobs. We all know that every 2-3 years people change companies, or someone gets promoted or whatever, or change, or businesses get acquired by another one. So things change. So we shouldn't rely that the database is always going to be alive or evergreen. No, we're going to have a rate, a percentage of contacts and companies that are going to change each year. So that's one thing. Another thing is that sometimes companies have definitions of industry, or they define tiers for their own internal purposes, or their own categorization of small businesses, medium businesses, and corporate. My categorization is probably not the same as you. It's not the same as HubSpot. It's not the same. So how should we handle that? And that is another information that it's usually manually filled or not filled at all. So the potential of your database gets reduced to almost zero. So now we can use a smart fill of properties. We can use our credits. All accounts that are seed-based, that have been migrated, get free credits each month. So that is your first step, your first approach of using AI to fix real problems that you have in your data, right? So I think that every admin should start at least with that. Of course, then if you want to try customer agents and move like one step further, yes, you can do that. That could be the next step of trying to play with AI or embrace AI in your business. But that's not the only way. Sometimes when we think about agents, companies are pretty conservative. They tend to say, oh no, that's not for us. Okay, but that doesn't mean that AI is not for you. That means that maybe the customer agent is not for you, but you still have 96 extra features in HubSpot. I said 96 because I don't know right now, but the last time I counted, it was 96. But you still have another whole new set of things with AI that you could be using. Discovering a hashtag for your posts, or rewriting, or expanding, or translating. So you have a lot of AI features that you can be taking advantage of. So the business that says AI is not for me is wrong. But they should have either a super admin or a consultant or an external part, whatever figure that you need to help you start embracing and taking advantage of that. So HubSpot is becoming AI first? Yes. Some companies are not ready to be AI first? Yes. But that does mean that we're not going to be using HubSpot anymore? No. That means that each company and each admin should implement the setup and the proper usage of AI for companies for that specific companies. So coming back maybe to our first question about is the job of an admin being easier or harder these days? I think it's being more exciting because we are being challenged every day to think differently. If you don't want to think differently, admin role is not for you, maybe. But because there's no two same setup for businesses. There are no businesses exactly the same. Not even companies from the same group, not even companies from the same industry. I think I haven't done in my life, in almost 14 years of working with HubSpot, I haven't done two exact same implementations. Never, ever. And we have mostly SaaS and real estate clients. Never two same setups, never. So the admin that thinks that you're going to change jobs and you're going to go and do the same thing there, nah.
Yeah. That has been a big learning from the past year or so, is that, from a marketing perspective, you always hear the value proposition of like, our people are the difference, right? Our people are what make us different. And it's like, yeah, I'm realizing now that's true, but it's not in the good way, right? It's in that necessarily. It's in that
Yeah.
even the exact same structure of an organization, like you say, is going to be different because different people are doing, they are different. They have different personalities, throughout the organization. And the beauty, like when HubSpot works, like when it brings very different people into alignment in a way that just creates great value for the business and for the customers. And like, that's why we're here. That's why we've chosen this like mountain of a challenge to try and achieve, because we wouldn't be here if we didn't think we could like get to the top of the mountain either, right? And so if you see this as just yet another challenge, understand that it's not just because AI first. Like, if you're excited about that, it still doesn't solve the challenges of your business context that HubSpot wasn't able to solve without AI either, right? And that's where you can't get away from some of the challenging conversations you need to have to solve alignment issues, to solve internal communication issues. But I think we landed on our one takeaway earlier with just that question, like what I've been saying for admins, like you've got to find a way to become challenger coach, like for the business as they have to transform in this age. And that question of, okay, like I hear you, I hear what you want to do. Let's say we do that. What happens next?
Yeah.
Like, and you can just start getting people to talk out loud, saying things in their own language, and you start to learn so much. And then they have the epiphany that they need to have. It's like, oh, yeah, so we implement the customer portal, and then the customers can log in and they can see tracking information and we can automate. It's like, okay, let's implement the portal. Let's add a field to HubSpot that says tracking ID. Then what? Then who's filling in that information? Oh, the shipping department. Oh, they're the ones with that information. They haven't touched the CRM ever, right? That's just one of like 1,000 examples, but get good at asking those questions. And you'll be all right. And the business, your value for the business will just like 10x. Like that is the exciting
Yeah.
like opportunity that we have right now.
And I think that you have a good point there. So we had said that AI doesn't have to be client facing, let's just say from the door out. This could be totally inside. So we can only keep, we could, if you want, and if you're not ready to embrace AI publicly, you can still be taking advantage of it, of that internally, especially with HubSpot in the CRM. So to whoever is still facing this and thinking about whoever admin is listening to us today and doesn't know how to start proposing using AI internally, look at those things that Chris just said. Is there some part of the process that nobody wants to be accountable for? Can we solve this with AI? For example, completing an information or updating, I don't know, something, a status or something that would be workflows, but forget about that. Let's just say that later. Think about the holes that you have currently in your processes, the holes that you have in the information, and let's just start evaluating if we can fix that with, for example, credits. The first thing that I did a couple of weeks ago when I started seeing the credits available for a client's account is I did a list. I went back to the old book and started writing. And I said, I have a page that is credits. And I put all the name of my clients. And I started thinking about ideas on how would I use it. For the sales team, do this. For the marketing team, do that. For the customer success team, do that. And then it will come the conversation again that we mentioned before. If we're going to need more credits, who is going to pay for? Internally, how are you going to divide that in the cost centers? So, okay, that is another discussion. But again, let's just start proposing. We have the information, we have the tools. It's just before putting your hands and spending all those credits, let's just think, plan, propose, and then we will say, okay, we're going to allocate 1,000 credits to this team or to this region or to that. I have another client that, they're enterprise, they have 1,000 credits each month for free. but they have 500,000 contacts, and they have all the teams in the world, more than 200 people working in the CRM. So I had to think really strategically, because if I had to divide that per users, I'm going to have 100 credits per user. So that's not, per users is not an option. Okay, let's just do it by teams, so by regions. Okay, Europe is going to use 1,000, Americas is going to use 1,000. Okay, Africa is going to use, okay, so let's just, okay, 1,000 per each region. Okay, I still have 500,000 contacts, so how am I going to do this? Okay, so we now write it down. Okay, we're going to look for the companies created in the past 3 months. So let's just try to start completing the information of these latest contacts and companies. Okay, so let's just start to that. So we cannot solve everything, especially for free, but let's just try to take advantage first of the free credits, test it out, because this is a process. You need to test it out. We're not going to tell you, okay, purchase 100,000. No, first test the ones that comes for free, see how it works. And then if we are planning about, okay, we want to fix all of the information missing next month. Okay, next month we can purchase, I don't know, 1 million credits if you want. I think that HubSpot will break if we purchase 1 million credits, but we'll see.
Find a way. They'll find a way.
Yeah. To sell, they will always find a way. But I think that is the best first step for admins, to start experiencing and experimenting with AI in the business, is to start proposing concrete things, because sometimes we let ourselves be thrifted away, amazing ideas and super cool stuff, and we forget about the basic stuff. Okay, complete information missing. We can now do that for free because HubSpot is gifting us those credits. Let's just start there. And then if you want to present an internal case study for the management to say, hey, this is what I did with AI this past month. Can we see opportunities of continue this work? Can we make this bigger, faster? Can we, I don't know, do more of this? Or can we test this as a next step? That is the way ideas get set internally in companies.
Yeah, that's how you get traction, especially with AI. I've started, I wish I had done this with HubSpot in the past, but it's like so hard when you just hear like 90-day onboarding and checklists and stuff like that. But like, because with both, it's always been this way with HubSpot, but especially with AI, like you have to find that moment, like where they just like get it. It has nothing to do with time, right? Like nothing to do. You just have to find the right thing. So creating like these trust milestones, like with AI more than anything else, you can't just talk about the value. It's very hard to comprehend. You have to find a way to show it. And HubSpot is giving you every way possible now with these available credits to do exactly what Lucy's suggesting, and know that you need to do that to explain to the business like why we're going to use the credits in this way and not in this other way. And if it really works, this is the value, and this is why we invest more, and that's why we don't need another seat, right? And just all these different ways, like helping the business think from that perspective is going to be so powerful and is so powerful. But it's a new skill. It's a new skill, and you know we're here to help. We're here to help them learn it.
Yeah, and I think this is like in life. You need to let the ego go, because I have heard in the past couple of weeks some sales managers saying, no, but my team is paid to be doing that and to be completing that information. Yeah, but I don't know what you're doing at your job, but this information is not being completed. So it's either you keep barking at them or hitting them with the stick, or we can start fixing it with AI. So you choose. I can do both things. I can sit here and watch how you keep barking and you don't do it, or I can help you complete this information with AI and let them be more focused on the calling, on the meetings, on the things that they do. Because sometimes we resist change because we have an idea of how things should be, and we don't notice and realize that things are not being like that in the CRM. So the first step is acknowledging your current situation so that then we can plan what is the next step.
Current state, people.
Yes.
Oh, always comes back to that. Well, thank you so much, Lucy. This has been another great episode. We're gonna keep being here as often as we can to help you do exactly what we're asking you to. You're not alone. That's always the beautiful thing about the HubSpot community. Lots of people, more so than not, in your exact shoes right now. And we want to help you get ready for the announcements at Inbound and what AI first really means. And it's gonna continue to be an interesting year. That's the one thing we're seeing. There's no signs of slowdown. So hopefully we can help you maybe accept a little bit more of what's happening and put you in a position to create more value. So until next time, Lucy, thanks so much.
Yes, thank you, and exciting times to come. So happy to be here to discuss all the potential and the new things that we're going to encounter.
Indeed. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.